Hey, and we're back, everybody.
No one heard.
Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross. I'm here. So blessed and honored to be here with my good friend, Jeremy Fudge from BAL. You know what? We asked for a redo, and we got it. And we got it.
Unbelievable.
God is good. Amen. All right. Kate Ann says no sound. Thank you, Kate. God bless you out there. What do we do without friends? Adrian checking in live at Glomo HQ. Excited for this today. Yes, Adrian. We got Adrian. We've got Delaney in studio. Hey, Delaney. How's it going? Jeremy's amazing daughter over here. This is fantastic. Get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. Check in with us. We're going to be talking about immigration. We're going to be talking about marathon training. We're going to talk about music a little bit.
Cake.
You can make me hungry. This is great. Jeremy, I had the privilege to visit your office over in Richardson, just down the road a bit.
Yep.
I got to be honest, I was blown away by it. It was like 4 stories of amazing. Can you explain to people, just like, it was like being immersed in a different place?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Like, what was your mindset there when you designed that office building over there?
How do you cross Disney World with Rainforest Cafe?
Yeah. Is that what a Disney World and Rainforest Cafe? It felt like, at first it felt kind of googly. Chewy's, like the Mexican joint.
Yeah.
It felt kind of Googlish at first in like the break room area.
Yeah.
And then we went up there, and then it felt like I was on like a movie set.
I think there was 2 thoughts we had. One was, we are not a normal law firm. I don't want us to look like it. I don't want us to feel like it.
Oh, it does not feel like a law firm.
I don't want to dress like it. So, so being true to who we are is part of that. I think the other part is trying to connect people to what we do, right, in a real way. And so all of it, you know, as you go around, you're touring the world, as you remember, different regions.
So every floor is like a different region of the world.
Yeah. And so, you know, in immigration and mobility, what we're doing is moving people from here to here. This is where people come from when they're coming here. And so it's a very subtle way, but it's a way to connect people to the mission and what we're doing and what we're about. And
why was it important, though, to make it not stale and not typical? Like, it's very atypical. Well,
I think that there's one level of that, which is just fun. And I'm fun, and I want things to be fun.
I don't know if you can call yourself fun. I think other people.
He
just did.
Yeah,
no, you are fun. You are fun. And you're different, and your kicks are like legit
Peter
fun.
Pan syndrome. But I think the other part of it is, again, just sort of like, what's the point of work? The point of work is to come together with people who are like-minded and want to do something together in this cause of whatever the cause is, right?
Yep.
And in that sense, for us, it's like, this is who we are, and this is what we want to be about. And it's that. Yeah,
and you spend so much of your time at work, you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah.
So our core values are truth, love, and fun. And I laugh every time I say it, because
so you called yourself fun.
I did.
See what happened there?
I'm poking fun at myself here. Well, it is. And every time I say like fun is one of our values, it's hard to take yourself too seriously. We're just saying it. It sounds, so it's like.
But that's good. I think people need to be more childlike in that sense.
I agree. We got people checking in here. Drew Phillips, J Fudge, and B Cross sounds like a hip hop duo. I love it, and I love you, Drew Phillips.
Are you gonna rap or am I gonna beatbox?
You're gonna beatbox, and I'm gonna freestyle.
Okay.
And then Adam's gonna dance. Actually,
nice.
Yeah. Drew Phillips. I normally don't trust a man with 2 first names, but I'm going to make an exception today, Drew. I love you. Hit that like button out there. Get in the comments here. Let us know what you think about offices right now. What about aesthetics? I'm really curious what people are thinking out there. Are you even in the office right now, or are you at home watching this on your phone or watching this on your laptop? Let me know what your thought is. Kate Ann says BAL is the best.
Nice job saying BL.
Of course. How else would you say it?
Why would you say anything different?
Shana Shazanowski, loving the energy. Happy Thursday, guys, from the warm winter in Rio. Do you have a Rio de Janeiro, Brazil vibe in any place in your company?
We have in Rio, there's these huge multi-story buildings that are spray painted by an artist named Cobra with a K.
Okay.
And they're faces of indigenous people of Brazil. They did it for the Olympics.
Wow.
And we have huge images covering walls of the office for that.
Yeah. Cobra with a K. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie Marshall Rose is saying, so excited for this show. Hello from a former.
Natalie, yeah.
Now, I know we're not supposed to say, but if it's a BALer, can it be a baller?
I say baller.
Okay, so it's a baller. She's a balling. All right. I'm sorry. Having too much fun here. Cut. So okay, so you obviously put a lot of thought into the aesthetics. Do you feel like you get more out of people? I mean, we're both leaders of the organizations here. I mean, is there an ROI on this? Because I mean, the investment must have been significant
for sure. The ROI of anything you do like that, I think, is in their engagement in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And people who are more engaged, and this is proven a million times over in articles and books and everything else, people who are more engaged are going to do better and serve better, in our case, at their job. And so, I mean, our engagement scores are really, really high.
Right.
We work on that really hard, and the aesthetic, the vibe, the food, the drinks, the whatever we're doing is all part of that.
I walked in to the office, and I'm going to stay here just for a moment because I mean, the office was legit this good, y'all.
Come visit.
What's the
Anyone's
deal?
welcome to come visit.
Go visit the BAL office in Richardson
or any city. They're just smaller.
What's the deal with the clipboards?
Yeah.
There's like so many clipboards. What's the deal?
So yellow's our color. Everybody, when they join, gets a yellow clipboard. And then you express who you are in whatever way you want to. And then we hang them all on the walls in every office. And so there they are, and people can get to know you better. And if you forget somebody, Dallas in particular, where there's lots and lots of people, hundreds of people, go look and see who they are, remember their name. But yeah, it's a way of just expressing who we are and that we're all in this thing together.
Y'all are really unique, and I really admire the culture. You know, as I was building my company, you know, thinking about company culture was one of the things I probably thought the most about. It kind of freaked me out. I was like, I hope I do this part right. And you know, what advice would you give to people out there who are creating a company culture? Maybe they're a leader, or maybe, you know, frankly, I think we all get an opportunity to influence the company culture a little bit.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah. What advice would you give to people?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's exactly where I was going to go with your comment. Is I don't think culture is about what you do and what you bring and how you live day to day, whether it's a new company or not, right? And all of us have a role to play in building whatever the culture is of the place we're in. What drives me bananas is people who sit in a particular company and they're like, rah, 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 right?
Yeah.
It's like, either contribute to making it what you want it to be, or go somewhere else where it's better, right?
Be happy somewhere else. Yeah.
But don't just waste life grumbling about something that's not what you want it to be, right? But I think that's it. I think we all have to contribute to it. It's daily. It's not posters you put on the walls. It's not, you know, what the leader says in all hands. It's how you live. It's how you engage the work. It's how you engage life.
What has really contributed most to your philosophy about culture and about workplaces? It's obviously you think differently about these things. Like, where does that come from?
I mean, I read a lot. You
do read a lot.
I tell our people, like, probably anything I ever say or come up with is not my own. And, you know, I stole it from somewhere. Yeah. So I read a lot. We have a lot of clients in the tech industry. You started with that comment. So I've seen their offices. I've seen their stuff. I've read their books, you know. There's good in that to steal from, for sure. But I think there's a deeper sense of culture that is unique to us in how we operate, which is, we call it 1BL, but it's the idea that our business is actually a single profit center. And so there is no internal competition. There is no, like, I'm got to tally my points or my score against your score to get paid more, whatever.
Is that a problem at law firms? Like,
oh yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Huge.
Like where partners maybe like create silos or you know, divisions and stuff like that.
Just the normal AmLaw, you know, firm partners they're not in silos by definition, like literally, but they're in silos in the sense of, here's my book of business, here's my billable hours, whatever, and I'm paid or bonused or whatever based off of that stuff, which creates a silo, right? They want to look out for them, which is totally fine. It's capitalism, it's America, whatever, but it is a silo, right?
So how do you break that structure knowing that that's a problem?
So we don't have tally sheets. We don't have scorekeeping. We don't have division of money based on that stuff. So literally anybody in any office, Edward in Boston calls me in Dallas and says, hey, I need help with something. I want to help because I'm paid off of that same client,
right?
Just as same he is. So it's a very unique business model, which no one really sees normally. But the output of that is, hey, teamwork, camaraderie, we're all in this thing together.
Does it lose? How do you keep it from losing accountability, though? I mean, just practically speaking.
I think it depends on the level of job and person it
Mhm.
is. That there's some things, a paralegal, for example, or an attorney, we can look at productivity, we can look at NPS, client satisfaction scores. There's any number of metrics we can look at and say, how are they doing? Um, Same with partners, same with owners, same with C-suite, same with anybody that's a senior leader. There's different kind of metrics, but there's metrics you can look at. I think the difference is we don't look at metrics in a punitive, old school way of performance review of like, you got to 4 instead of 5, so you're good. You're not
That's how we do it.
great,
That's how we do it. Yeah.
right? And instead, we're looking at it like, if Delaney over here, my 7-year-old, if we measure her height on the door frame,
Yeah.
right? You look at that, and I don't go, Delaney, you're only 4'8" today, right? That's
Not eating enough
good
broccoli,
enough, right?
Delaney.
You just go, oh, you're 4'8", and so then you measure again later, and you go, hey, you're 5 foot, you grew 2 inches, right?
Right.
That's the idea of metrics for us: is how do you have a way of seeing your growth? It's all about growth,
Mhm.
right? That's really what all of us should be about, personally, professionally.
So really, it's about measuring the team. It's about measuring the
And you can see, and the way culture works, when you've got a tidal wave ultimately of culture going, right, or the flywheel spinning, or whatever metaphor,
Right.
people who are going against that stand out, right? And so it doesn't become a big issue. If someone's like not pulling their weight, it stands out. We know it, and we say, yeah, what's the deal?
I'm loving this conversation about kind of leadership in the way we lead. This is really great. People are getting in here with the hashtags. Hashtag 1BAL. Nadia Neely checking in. Julia checking in. Hashtag 1BAL. Here's a real shortcut, y'all. If y'all just want to put hashtag 1BAL in there, you can feel free to do so. Hi from Edward in Boston. This firm is special.
There he is.
Hashtag 1BAL. Is that the Edward?
That's literally the one I just talked about. How about
Edward,
that?
do you feel supported?
Still looking
Edward,
out.
do you feel like you're all in the
It's
same team?
encouraging by joining.
Yeah, no, that is nice. That is really good. If you've got questions for Jeremy, throw them in there. I want to know how you handle these things, and if you have a different way of looking at it. Kate Ann saying the best firm I work for. Wow, cool. Look at all the love coming.
I mean, we just
Doesn't that feel good?
We?
Yeah, feels awesome. My dad's checking in. Dan in Tulsa's in the
Hey,
house.
Dad.
What up, Dad?
That's nice. Aren't you so proud of him?
It's like, Dad, please expound in the comments.
Yes.
That'd be great. My dad didn't always check in. It's nice.
There you go.
It's good. You said you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And when I was there at the offices,
Yeah.
you had something really cool that I've never seen anywhere.
Yeah.
On the wall.
Stole it off Pinterest.
You stole off Pinterest? Okay. On the wall, there's like all these books hanging by a thread on the wall at different heights and everything.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I mean, I probably heard or read half of them.
Yep.
Some of them I hadn't heard. And I was like, what's the deal with the books on the wall?
It's decorative and functional both. So It's a cool design. I saw it on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool looking. And that becomes very practical. So, and it's cheap. Like I literally did it with my guy Preston ourselves, right? Like it's fishing line, it's 2 buttons.
Yeah.
And we tied it on both ends, and one button goes up in the ceiling tiles, and then the other button the book rests on. And so, yeah, we've got books that we put up on the wall. We have leadership books we study every year in the firm. Those go up there. We have other books that people put up themselves. You can write in it and say why you like this book. So it's a way of, again, expressing yourself. People get to know you, etc. And then we just do a normal library card system, and people can check them out.
And it just hangs like in like the drop ceiling kind of. You just tuck it in there.
Yeah, just like these tiles.
I feel like we should do something like that. And so
it's amazing what you can hang.
Give a book, take a book kind of thing.
Well, it's just library card system.
Yeah.
And then someone kind of is the librarian.
Who's the librarian?
It rotates a little. Kay Ann's part of that. She was in
Kate Ann's the librarian, honorary librarian. Hashtag 1BAL. Kaya here. I absolutely love working for this firm. Mike Falia checking in from Southern California. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Katrina Cooper. They are a fab firm to work with.
Live from London.
The focus and energy is endless.
She is at Deloitte. You got to read that in a British accent.
I try it.
Is that your British accent?
Is that like appropriation if I read it? And they're a fab firm to work with. The focus and energy is endless.
So bad.
I can't do it. I'm laughing.
So
Katrina,
bad.
I'm really sorry. I apologize to you and the crown. Anthony, aloha, Ben and Jeremy. Anthony's in
Hawaii.
Hawaii. What's up? Mahalo, buddy. Look at Amy checking in from
Bet those are
Houston.
all cooler places than here right now.
Houston?
No, not Houston.
Yeah, exactly. Not Houston. I mean, come on.
Southern
Jersey? What about
California.
New Jersey? Danny Herskowitz in New Jersey.
I was just there
Cooler than Dallas?
at the time.
Temperature wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Not
do.
a fan of the
Not a fan of the
new
heat?
stadium
Oh, which one? And
in Jersey,
which stadium?
MetLife.
Oh,
Giants, Jets.
well, I mean,
Have you heard of them?
I'm not a fan of the Giants or the Jets, but you know, get you saying I'm an Australian from England. Well, maybe that was Australian English accent.
True.
So you got all these books.
Yeah.
You ever think about writing a book?
I am writing a book
Yeah.
right
okay.
now. It's
Really?
a bigger goal than I thought it would be, but it is.
What
We're over
prompted
the
you?
second half.
What prompted you to even start that endeavor?
Someone told me sometimes you got to stop reading other people's books and write your own. I was like, dang, okay.
Okay.
I've got stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know who it's for exactly still. And the world will just tell me, I guess, who it's for. Maybe it's for no one. Maybe it's just for Delaney.
Could be for Delaney. But that'd be cool too, even if it was just for her.
Yeah, totally.
That'd be cool.
But it's sort of my 10
I'll read it.
principles of work and leadership that I feel like are my keys to success
Mhm.
in my own life.
Did you just get tired of people asking you to just go get the book?
I mean, people have asked, and so yeah, it will be a handy shortcut.
Just get the book.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm on chapter 7 of 10, so it's getting near the finish line.
What's the biggest surprise in this process for you of writing a book?
So I was
something I've always wanted to.
I was a journalism major.
Okay.
So writing is not particularly hard, and it's actually enjoyable. The hardest part has been I thought, well, I'll just sit down and just bang this thing out.
Yeah.
And then I banged out a first draft, and it was like 60 pages, and I was like, well, this isn't really a book, is it? I got to add some substance.
It's an
to this.
ebook.
I need some content. So what I did was I went and said, okay, here's these principles that I think are the 10 to live by. And here's where bestsellers that I've read have talked about them. So I went and did all that research, pulled my quotes, all that, and that became tedious, hard work.
Yeah.
Because I'd read the books, but when you're trying to skim a 200-page book and go, where was that quote? Right? Like,
did it bring you back to like days where you're like looking for a quote,
totally
annotating something?
So I pulled all that in. And then the twist I put on it now is my point is these are timeless and true principles to follow, not because they're in a bestseller, but also because they appear in ancient wisdom from 2,000, 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm pulling in that piece too to supplement. So
that is true. That is true. So much of the stuff we read in a book now was written in a book in the 90s, was written in a book in the 50s. I mean, one of my favorite books, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, was written in 1934.
Yeah.
Right. And it's still there, And then what does he quote? Biblical.
Yeah.
Parables.
Yeah, I'm quoting Torah and Bible, and here they are 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It's literally the same things. Like here's a quote, they're the same.
It's also an easy way to write a book, right? Just go back and just steal your favorite quotes. I mean, I see what you're doing here, Jerry. I'm not hating on
That's the work part, man. That's the hard part.
And Merritt checking in from Chicago Metro. Yeah. If you are checking in right now, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to put one question for Jeremy in the comments now.
Easy questions.
Hard questions only. This is your chance. Okay. He's in the dunk tank right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Put whatever you want in there. Now, don't forget the consequences. Just put it in there. Okay. And I want to know what questions you have for Jeremy. This is great. Okay. Natalie's got the first question. First question.
Okay.
Natalie says, opening a BAL office in Miami.
Wow. That's a bold question just right out of the gate.
I mean, I think it's something around the temperature and places you like to visit.
In Miami someday.
Someday, Natalie.
I'm not putting a time frame on that, but yes.
So the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
I don't know if we're allowed to give short answers. This is an hour-long program. I don't know if you got to stretch it out a little bit here.
Yes.
Do you like Miami?
So
you like Miami?
I haven't spent much time in Miami.
I think it's overrated. I'll be honest with you.
I haven't spent much time.
No offense, Natalie, or anybody else that lives in Miami. All the Dolphins too. You're
I've actually
great.
only been there once.
Yeah, it's.
I've been to Orlando a lot.
Miami or Orlando? That's a question.
I mean, with 4 girls.
Delaney, you want to vote?
4 girls. It's all about Orlando.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna ask you this. Here's a tough question here. What do most people, or what do some people maybe misunderstand about BAL?
You think everybody listening knows what BAL even is? Should we preface that?
Sure.
Okay.
Define it.
So BAL is an immigration law firm, technically by definition. I think we're way more than that. I think that's one thing maybe to say. I've got 80 people in a software development company within BAL, right? Like, so we're huge into technology. We've got people doing consulting type work. We've got people doing all kinds of stuff. So in a way, we're far more than a law firm. Mm-hmm. That's one version of the answer. Another version is we are mission and purpose focused more than money focused in the first instance. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean money's not important, it is.
Right.
But we are doing this because to our mission, provide experience that makes a positive difference in people's lives. We want to affect change in the world. We want to make a difference in people's lives. We want to serve and love people. And that's a little different than some places, right? And
I would say it's very different
law
from
firms.
A lot of places. Yeah. Sure.
I think there's the element of teamwork and how we're constructed as a business and all that we talked about that's different. I think a lot of people look at us and think, and this isn't a shot at, it may sound like this, so I'm going to preface and say this isn't a shot at companies who are doing RFPs and using procurement departments and whatever. I don't mean it that way, but we are radically different than any other immigration firm out there. And I'm not saying we're right and they're wrong. I'm just saying we're different in how we go about things and how we think about things and how we pursue the present, how we pursue the future. All of that is something different. And so you gotta unpack a little bit. It's not just, we do high volume corporate immigration. We do the same thing as this firm or this firm or this firm. It's actually different.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you talked about the way that you do kind of the, you kind of look at the performance of the firm, not by the partners and by the divisions and stuff, but as a whole. And I think that sounds different for one as well. You talk about the future, and this leads into some questions. Keep these questions coming, by the way. These are way better than the questions I have here. You ready for fastball question number 2 here?
Okay.
Is it Kia or Kaya?
Kia.
Wow, that was not one of the options I gave. Kia. Kia Fountain. Hey, Kia. Thanks so much for tuning in here. She says, how do you see BAL 5 years from now? Talking about the future.
I mean, this is funny because we just had our firm-wide June all hands yesterday.
Maybe these are the softballs.
And I'm like, why are they not asking these questions yesterday? Why are they doing them live on air today?
I don't know. Maybe you should have me facilitate your town
5
halls.
years from now. This is going to sound very grandiose, but I'm going to stand by it.
All right.
And we'll recheck this in 5 years.
Okay.
In 5 years, everything I just answered about how we're different will be even more specific, even more granular, and there will be nothing literally like us in immigration.
Wow, that is grandiose.
Well,
so does that mean you're going to lean into your differentiators a little bit more?
We're leaning into the differentiators, and we're going to redefine how immigration is done.
Dun dun dun. That's the dun 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 right there. Can we cue the sound effects? Dun, dun,
it's true. It's true.
That is aspirational. Does that scare you to put something out there that's so aspirational like that?
It may scare everybody listening back at the office.
I have this theory about change, right? Yeah. I have this theory about change. Change is like riding a jet ski. Okay. So if you're driving the change, you're driving the jet ski.
Then
you're having a blast and you're just like hitting those waves like, woo, let's go. Spring break forever. Yeah. And the person on the back is holding up for dear life, like, slow down.
The analogy I would give is driving a Tesla.
Oh,
because I have a Tesla.
Okay.
And I'm driving it. I feel very in control, going very fast, moving like it moves. Literally, my mother-in-law threw up in the back seat. And I was like, this is not good.
I just love the imagery right now of your mother-in-law throwing up in your Tesla right now. Did she like get it on the seats, or did she like throw up in her handbag?
No, it was
just just there for you.
Yeah.
Like you did this.
But yeah, I think you're spot on with the analogy, whichever we choose.
I might like yours better. I really liked mine.
The thing I've read, again, everything is in a book, Jim Collins talks about you got your flywheel going, you get your business going the way you want it, everything's going great. but that will become obsolete. Everyone's gunning for you in
Like
different ways,
flywheels
right?
are.
And so how do you know when to jump off of the one you're going on that's good to a new one?
And that's the hardest part.
That's the scary part.
Because it's going. Everything's going good. You're making money.
But if your
fun,
mindset is everything's good, let's just sit,
right,
you're going to be screwed in 5 years, right? So
you have to. So I heard Captain Sully Sullenberger, Miracle on the Hudson,
Yeah.
landed the pilot, right? Pilot landed the plane
Yeah.
in the Hudson. And he said innovation is disrupting yourself, changing yourself before you're forced to change.
Yes.
And that's so hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Because you just, hey, I made it. This is exactly what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
And now it's time to change.
But your job as a leader is to be courageous and to say, we got to change, right?
Yeah. And to inspire the confidence in people.
And when you're changing to a completely new flywheel, like we're trying to do, it's even more scary in a sense, because you don't know for sure, is this even going to work, right? But if you keep doing what you're doing,
yeah,
you're toast.
When I talk to like venture capital firms, a lot of times they don't invest in the business, they invest in the team, right? People. And so your question is this going to work? It's like, if I'm watching you as my leader, I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to work, but I think he's going to figure out what to do if it doesn't.
Yeah,
I believe everybody in the room here is
that's the
going to
key.
be able to get us.
It ain't about me. It's because of our model.
Right.
Literally, everyone's coming together, and they're going to get all the details in our July all hands. Actually, so they're all going.
If you need me to facilitate the all hands and get some more questions,
start being the guest host.
Yeah, I could do that.
I mean,
I'm very affordable and I'm right down the road. Travel's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, get in the comments here. I want to know what questions you have for Jeremy leading into the all hands in July. Let's see here. We've got, look at this. Kay is just enjoying the conversation. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you do. Let's see here. Andres Trujillo. Jeremy. I like how this is addressed to you, not me. Jeremy, from another baller who started out as a journalism major. What made you decide journalism, and how did you transition into the legal field? Hashtag 1BAL.
Okay, good question. Easy question. So journalism was because I loved writing. I worked on the high school newspaper, and I love that. And you should do things you love. So that was as simple as that. Now I did double major in political science because if you're going to law school, you're supposed to be a poli-sci major, supposedly. So I did that. I did not love that, but there it is. And I would say for journalism, any of those kinds of majors like that, they are really good for anybody in any job because they teach you how to communicate. And that is critical. I think people being able to write, I think you and I talked about this at lunch the other day, didn't we? People being able to write, whether it's, just an email even, right? And be clear in what they're saying and get their point across is so important no matter your job. So it was an easy transition from that to law school to this, like all we do is write all day.
All you do, is write. I say the same thing to my dad. I hope my dad's still on. Dad, if you're out there, he asked me so I was an English major. Yeah. And he always says, oh, English lit major. And he throws the lit on there like it's like a dig or something, English lit major. And I'm like, well, actually, I wasn't English lit major. I was an English major, and I focused more on writing and expressing ideas and, persuasive writing and all the different types of writing. And you're right. What do we do all day? We write emails. Yeah. That's like all we do. Yeah. Maybe if we take a break, we write on like LinkedIn. Yeah. And we just write all the time. Yeah. Or if we get tired of that, we start a podcast.
And then you talk.
And we just talk.
But you're talking because you wrote.
Yeah. So it's like, so you're 100% right. And I read something actually. Keep these questions coming, by the way. These are good questions. I read something recently, and I think it was one of the C-suite people at Tesla, actually. And they said that English is going to become the new dominant computer programming language.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
Right. So now we're just going to tell it what to do. Yeah. And our ability to tell it what to do well.
There are jobs being created right now of prompt engineer.
Right.
Because there's an art to how you queue up any of those natural language deals.
I tell my wife all the time, I was like, you need to work on how you tell me what to do.
Yeah.
you need to
The biggest issue with those right now, going back to my book, is they call it hallucinating. Have you seen this?
I'm in.
So this is how like OpenAI and others are describing
Hallucinating,
where the AI goes off the rails. It's a
okay.
hallucination.
Oh, it's hallucinating.
And it is true. And then it becomes completely obstinate that it is correct. So like I literally was in ChatGPT and I said, give me this quote from this book. And it pulled the quote. I said, give me the paragraph before and after the quote. I was like, let's see if, because this will be a game changer. If it can just do that on the fly.
Yeah.
Right. And so it gave me 3 full paragraphs. And then I got home. I was on vacation. I got home, looked in the book, and it had completely made up these 3 paragraphs. Completely made them up.
It wrote them. It didn't give them to you verbatim.
And then I went back into that same thread and I was like, is this actually from the book? And it was like, yes, it is from the book. And I'm like, where is it from in the book? And it's like chapter 7. I'm like,
it's just lying.
It's just lying.
It's like talking to your kid. It's just like lies on top. Like, no, I totally wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
So don't believe everything you read.
ChatGPT. Aren't we going back 100 years to don't believe everything you read, right? And half of what you see, I think, is the rest of that quote, right? Because they're also doing AI, visuals and video. And
Pope's running in a.
In fact, this whole thing is actually a deep fake of Jeremy here. He couldn't be here with us today, so we actually had an AI-generated guest,
like the Matrix.
I could just get whoever I want on the show. That'd be great. So let me ask you this: we look at industries that are at risk of being heavily disrupted by AI and ChatGPT. And the legal profession is one of those that I continue to see on the top of the list.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to the legal profession with the introduction of AI?
I think legal will be like, I think some industries are going to be completely disrupted in the sense of this job literally goes away. I think there's other industries like legal where it's going to boost the productivity of lawyers. I don't think it replaces lawyers. Maybe someday, but not in our lifetime, probably. But if you can do legal research, if you can, in essence, write a memo that you would have spent the time in the library reading all the books and the cases and then writing this memo out, and if you can just say ChatGPT, hey, give me the top 5 precedent decisions for this thing, and you got to trust it.
Well, that's the thing, because then it's like trust but verify.
Totally.
Ask but verify.
But what's happening is I think ultimately people are going to connect these language models to, it's all about the data set, right? And so if you can connect it to Westlaw or Lexis, for example, so you're actually pulling from legal cases versus like going to the universe of the internet and tell me answers.
Just broad ChatGPT and it makes up books and stuff.
Yeah. So there was a lawyer actually that submitted a brief to a judge. This is just like last week or 2. And he had 5 cases cited and they were made up by ChatGPT.
The cases were made up.
Yeah, it was like,
what happens to the
Ford
lawyer
versus whatever, 385 F second 242. Like it was literally a legal citation. And then opposing counsel was like, these aren't real cases, Your Honor. And he got reprimanded. He might even get disbarred.
Wow.
Because he didn't check.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there any liability from ChatGPT or the thing that makes that?
Not at the moment.
They don't hold any of that out to be true.
This is that whole debate in the tech world, right? And it's getting into Congress of like, should there be liability for media companies for the outputs they produce?
Wow.
Section 380 issue.
Wow. We got another question. Keep these questions coming. These are a lot of fun here. We're going down some interesting paths here. We got a captive guest here. He's literally chained to the desk. John Maloney, Jeremy.
John Maloney.
I love how they always say Jeremy first. Like, Jeremy? Can you talk about your leadership development program? At BAL, you invest heavily in this area.
So, yes. So John is a strength finder. John is a Strength Finders Gallup Strength Finders consultant, coach, and works with us. So full disclaimer there. Leadership development program is something we came up with a handful of years ago to just grow and develop and enhance our leaders in their leadership, quite simply. And so it's a year-long program. It's super intense. I make them, it's like hazing. I make them read like 8-9 books in a year. They're doing workshopy stuff with each other. They're doing case studies. They're doing public speaking exercises. They're doing all kinds of stuff like that. And they coach with John on their top 10 strengths and dig into those. And they do a 360 and they get coaching from Frida and I. Frida Garcia is my managing partner. And so it's an intense year of just growing your leadership. And in growing your leadership, it's really sort of 3 components. It's how do you grow academically, intellectually about leadership, right? So that's reading the books. That's like just learning new things. It's practically, how do you grow? And that's the exercises, case studies, that kind of stuff we do. And then the third is how do you grow as a person, as a leader, right? And so that's the strength finders. That's the digging into who you are, how you're wired. Why do you lead the way you lead? What are the balconies and basements of those strengths, right? Every strength has got a balcony and a basement. And so, yeah, it's a really cool program.
John, I got a question for you.
Oh, turn the tables.
Dun, dun, dun. Is there a weakness finder? Is that a component of this?
You're about to get a whole long message back on that.
That's fine. It's engagement.
Strength Finders book is all about that.
They're all, yeah. All right. Let me know if there's any basements out there that I look into. How do you get involved in that program? Who gets you raise your hand, you get selected?
You can sort of raise your hand in a sense. You got to be a certain level. You got to be a senior associate or a senior manager or above. Their bosses can recommend them, and then ultimately we're looking at it and deciding at the end of the day, like we do about 15-20 people in the class, and so everyone will get a chance, but it's kind of like what are our most needs maybe at the moment.
All right, I got a question here. So I took a tour, as we know, of BAL recently. I was really blown away. I was also out of breath. You ran.
It is a half a mile.
It was. It is a half a mile. It felt like more.
And that's
I wore
the current
the wrong
building.
shoes. I wore a suit. I don't know what.
Yeah, the suit was.
You got to let people know. Okay, I showed up in a suit, hard bottom shoes.
Bad.
This guy had me doing stairs. I mean, he's like, look at Antarctica. There it goes. And I'm like, wow. Like, slow down, Jeremy. And then over lunch, as he's feeding me brisket, he's telling me about his. You do marathons.
Yeah.
But not only do you do marathons, you make other people coach other people to do marathons. What's that about?
Are you signing up?
I'm investigating.
Okay.
I'm doing this. Is an RFI. This is an RFI. Dude, you will kill me. You will literally dead me.
But literally anybody can do it. Yeah, I ran my first marathon when I was 29. I did not grow up athletic. I had never run. I had never done anything sports.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine had just done the Dallas Marathon the year before, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do the marathon this year?" It's cool. I'm like, well, that's kind of on a bucket list, maybe. So yeah. So started running, did it super slow, but I finished, and I was like, I kind of like this thing. So I kept going.
What was it that you liked about it? I haven't found that.
I liked the sense of accomplishment and almost like self-worth that you get from it is hard to replicate anywhere else.
Okay.
Because it is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Right. And you finish and you're like, holy crap, I did this. I did this. Right. Yeah. And so it's just really cool in that sense. The endorphin rush is like unbelievable. So, so I kept doing them. And, as we try to grow in all areas of our life, I try to grow in that. And how can I get faster? And that becomes an obsessive pursuit, right? Because then it's like, I'm going to try to break. That first one was like 5 hours and change. And I was like, I'm trying to break 4 hours. Then it's like, I'm going to try to qualify for Boston. That's like a big deal, right? So qualify for Boston, which was 3:13 for me that year I qualified. And so, so then it's like, well, can I break 3? Like that's getting pretty elite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And so it messes with you like that. So I've tried to like stop my all out pursuit.
I got to ask.
And switch to coaching.
Did you break 3?
I've not broken 3.
Okay. No. I appreciate you.
3:13 is my fastest.
Still really fast.
To break 3, there's a psychological barrier. This is an interesting phenomenon, actually. There's a psychological barrier because to break 3, you've got to run 6:56 or something like that minute miles, and just the fact that there's a 6 in front of that minute mile
handle on that number
for 26 miles it's a psychological thing almost for me, because I was trying to break 3, and I just kept thinking about that that's fast. That's fast. I got to run that fast. And it almost psyched me out in a sense.
Does it? And I don't know the first thing about running, so apologize. But does it almost the stride almost turn from a jog to a run? Is there like a hump there that you have to get over to where that stride just?
Yeah, I mean, when you train, you have different when you're training for time, not just to finish, you have different kinds of runs you do. You have regular runs, which are a little bit slower pace. You have tempo runs, which are faster. You have sprints, right? And so there are different gears basically you develop of speed. And so you're not sprinting by any means, but it's just intense.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's interesting because I think lots of things, I think our minds actually hold us back from what we can actually do.
Wow.
So it's an interesting phenomenon. But yeah, so I coach people. I run it still too, but I coach people at BAL. And so
how many people have you coached?
We've had about 12 to 15 a year the last couple of years.
Per year?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. And it's hard because Dallas Marathon's in December. So our training period is actually July to December. And it's like the worst you could train possibly. But we get up super early. We all get up and come to the office and off we go.
If you're watching this right now and you've run a marathon, there's, a bunch of people watching this right now. If you've run a marathon, get in there. If you haven't run a marathon, let me know.
Come to Richardson. Saturday mornings this fall.
Where do y'all train?
We run from the office and we run on the Richardson Trail system.
Is that how you do it? You tell people like, listen, you can leave now at 3:00 if you just run home. You just got to run out here like the zombie apocalypse.
No, we start early when the sun's barely up.
Sure, I imagine, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
So you're training through the heat. Mm-hmm. So you start at the office. Everybody meets up at the office, and then. And what's that first run like? What's that first day like? Day one.
My whole program is I try to make it as easy for you as I can. I want to remove all the impediments. All you got to do is show up. So literally, you show up, and I have mapped out the run. I have a map for you. I've put water out on the course for you. I do that on Friday night ahead of time. And then when you finish, I've got bananas and oranges and waters and everything else for you too. So literally, you just got to show up.
How long does it take to prep this?
It takes a while.
And you do this for everyone Saturday mornings for every week or what? Like,
so we run. This is just long runs. They got to run twice during the week. So they're running.
Yeah.
Like at home. Long runs. Yeah. My schedule, the way I do it is we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles long runs in a row weeks. And then we take off, not off really, but off. Take off a week, and then we go 12 off, 14 off, 16 off, 18 off, 20, and then we go off 23, and then we go off 26 marathon. Wow. So that's our schedule. So it's like 13-ish long runs I'm planning.
Is the 20, and I'm sorry, we're on here for just a second here, but
deep dive on marathon.
You're doing deep dive on marathon, something I never thought I'd be interested in even learning about.
Much less you're doing it this fall. Can you believe it?
I cannot.
Can you believe you're doing a marathon in December?
Adrian, have you run a marathon? Adam? No. 10K?
I feel like it's a Glomo goal for the year now. The three of you are going to cross the finish line together.
Dude, I'm
arms raised.
I've 13, 14.
You're there. You're basically done.
You're basically done, he says. Basically done. So when you built off 26 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Do you do that before the event, or is the 26?
The 26 is the event.
The event. Okay. Wow. Okay. We got put your questions in the comments here. If you got more questions for Jeremy here, we are on the.
But the moral of that story is that's how you grow and do anything that you want to accomplish, right? Little bits, little steps, add a mile, add a mile, consistently. Boom.
I'm gonna ask. I got one more question. Katrina says, "What about doing the London Marathon?" Maybe.
It's a long way to go to run.
It's a long way to go to run. I like it. It's a long way to go to run. That's a book. All right. It's a long way to go to run. So if I were, you think I could really run? It might take me a year.
100%. No, I could do it.
100%. I'd have to lose a lot of weight. A lot.
Not necessarily.
A lot.
Not necessarily.
Oh man. Adam, you're so full of it.
Because no one in the group literally runs the whole way the whole time.
Okay,
so run walking.
Documentary. Adam's doing a documentary on it. Oh,
yes.
Man. Oh,
the Glomo.
How many times would I puke in that documentary?
0.
Like over 10. Oh my gosh.
This
Okay.
is exciting. This is breaking news, guys.
I'm about to. This is very not exciting.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of exciting. I'm about to throw up right now. I've never done that on the show. Okay, we're moving on here.
Okay. All right.
Whew, thank you,
It's getting hot in here, isn't it?
Andres says, "Where's your next vacation location?" Antarctica looked incredible. You went to Antarctica?
I went to Antarctica.
So, did you take those pictures in
Yeah,
the?
that were on LinkedIn.
No, the ones on the wall.
Oh no. A professional with a very expensive camera took those. No, I went over New Year's.
Okay.
For 11 days down to Antarctica.
What was the temp like?
30s, 40s.
Okay, so not like
It wasn't
super
nuts.
freezing.
It's winter here. It's summer there, so that's as warm as it gets.
All right, I got a dumb question. Not the first,
Penguins?
not the last.
Does it involve penguins?
No, about like the polar ice caps and stuff like that.
Are
and
they
like,
melting?
Yeah, like
Can I firsthand attest to global warming?
Can you, when you were there and it's 30, 40 degrees and you're standing on an ice cap, which probably is not the way it went down, but are you watching it like drip, 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 and you're like, man,
no,
shouldn't be doing that?
The answer is no. Now, I did ask our guides, can you tell a difference, right? Because they go with a different group like every 2 weeks or whatever. I'm like, can you tell a difference? And they're like, yes, like this mountain over here used to be here and the ice was here and now it's here or whatever. But apparently the way the ecosystem works in Antarctica, it's actually, that's normal. That's not a global warming thing. That's the ice recedes, it rains, it goes back in the ocean and builds up more ice. Like there's a cycle to that.
Of it.
And so
over time, like a long-term cycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, no, it's fine.
I also heard we're entering an ice age, so I didn't know if like that was counter.
Well, if it's an ice age and we're gonna have penguins, I can tell you it's not a good future. Penguins, you think penguins are cool, don't you?
I kind of do. I've seen movies with them.
You've seen movies, exactly.
They seem nice. They're monogamous birds.
You get in person, and it's the worst smelling thing. As you approach an island full of penguins, you can smell it because they're just pooping everywhere they live.
Oh
right?
Yeah, they don't wipe.
And then they don't wipe, so it's smearing all over their bodies. They're squawking. They're real loud.
Yeah.
It's actually really disenchanting from the videos you've seen.
Totally not the way it's portrayed. Disney lied. Yeah, very, very interesting. I also, another thing I discovered about you that I also thought was really super cool is you're really into music. Like would you play instruments? Like what's
so I started playing drums in the 7th grade. I tried to become Larry Mullen Jr., the drummer of U2. Cut my hair like him, had the crew cut.
Can we pull that up, please?
I do have a photo.
I wish I had that.
I do have a photo. Learned all the music, all that. As I got into high school, I started playing in bands. When you get into bands, you tend to learn the other stuff, sort of. So like I can play guitar, I can play bass, all that. But drums was my primary instrument. Played in bands, played in clubs in Houston. I grew up in Houston. Played in college bands. Haven't played in a band in that sense really since then, but still have all my gear set up at home and all that.
Do you miss playing in bands? Like, would you want to play in a band?
That's a whole different kind of endorphin rush.
Yeah. Because there's this whole there's this mobility light orchestra that's going on around nowadays. Yeah. I'm not even lying to you right now. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, which I am. But that's not. No, this is shout out to Inigo Lopez over at Bicortex Languages, but they played over at Eura over in Dublin. And I think we're gonna probably do a party over at Worldwide ERC in Boston and have them play. And because you're appearing on the show today, you're going to be invited to the Love and Relo 500 event that we're doing in August for our 500th episode. And we're inviting all the guests from 500 episodes. And it's a real who's who. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But awesome. I'm gonna try to bring them in for the entertainment, even though they're in like Argentina and Spain. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. So my point is, have you ever considered playing in a band like at an event, like a work thing?
Sure.
Thing?
We've had a band at like parties and stuff at the office, and I'll sit in for a song.
Yeah. Cameo.
Yeah. We have our leadership retreat in Mexico in the fall every year. And there's this whole, we don't have time for this probably, but there's this whole thing we do called the BAL Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
And so
yeah,
I create the whole sort of award ceremony. And so this last year we had, I don't know if you saw it or if people saw it, but Billie Eilish on the Grammys 2 years ago, this whole thing where she was on the top of a roof of a house with her band and they were like jamming out and like lightning and stuff in the background. And I was like, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I basically tried to replicate that thematically with what our theme was for the BAL Academy that year.
So explain to people the BAL Academy Awards, though, because this I think is
it's
really
like so hard to explain.
important. Well, if you see the Academy Awards,
yeah. So
like that.
so every office and in Dallas, every floor creates a 6-7-ish minute movie in a theme.
Yes.
So like Westerns or whatever. And then they can try to recreate it. They can try to rewrite it immigration-y. They can, do one scene. They can do the whole movie, whatever they want to do. And so then we have it judged by external people, like creatives that we work with. And then we have Oscars that we give out for all the different categories: best actor, best costumes, best picture, whatever. Yeah. And so at our leadership retreat, which has nothing to do with that generally, the last night of leadership retreat is when we do the BAL Academy Awards ceremony. It's red tie. It's a red carpet, black tie. It's super elaborate. It's like better than what's on TV for the real one. I'll tell you that. And all the offices can watch it back home and cheer for their movie and all that kind of stuff.
So it's streamed out to all the people.
Stream it, live stream it.
And y'all are live in Mexico or whatever, but it's streamed out to everyone. Yeah. And are you watching the films at that point?
So we'll watch them all? Yep. We'll screen them all. And then there's all kinds of like bits in between that I'm writing and producing and stuff.
Can I get a link? I just want to
you could be a judge.
Oh, dude. I'm so in. I know Adam over here makes our movies here.
Yeah, y'all can judge it.
This is awesome. Frida Garcia. Hello.
There she is.
Hello, Frida. By the way, if
Doctor.
I can run a marathon, anyone can. Hashtag I am Jeremy's first marathon student. That hashtag might catch Frida. Frida, you're awesome.
Frida was the first person I coached.
We're gonna have to talk offline, Frida, about the grueling. How hard was it, Frida? Scale of 1 to 10.
She does a lot of walking, but she gets it done. Like, that's the thing.
Katrina says crazy fun about the BAL Academy Awards. Janet Turner checking. What's up, Janet? Super producer number 1. My son is a drummer and can play all the instruments too. She loves drummers. I didn't know that about you, Janet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is fun. I'm having a good time with this. I wanna say we got some segments here. Let's have a little fun with this here. All right. Let's get into the overrated, underrateds here. Okay. You wanna play a little game?
Sure.
Game? All right, cool. We're gonna play underrated, overrated. Do you know how to play this game?
You're gonna tell me something and I tell you over or under.
Yes, there's 2 rules. You can say overrated or underrated. Yep, that's the first, and those are your 2 options. Okay. The second is I'm gonna tell you if you are correct.
Okay. Okay.
I think you get it. Okay, good. Let's go with the first one. Overrated, underrated. Lobster. Lobster.
Overrated.
Overrated. All right. Explain. Tell me why you feel that way. I'll give you a chance.
There's nothing to it. It doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't chew well.
It doesn't chew well.
You got to bury it in butter or something else to enjoy it.
I mean, all these things are positives for me.
And hoity-toity people, like, I'm eating my lobster.
I'm eating my lobster.
And it's like, now maybe if like you're in Maine, like Joe Curtis in Boston office, he's from Maine, and lobster, right? So maybe that's different. That's lobster of the people. Maybe that's different.
That's the people's lobster.
But like in a steakhouse, overrated.
Oh, there's a law on the books.
You can't disparage beef.
Disparage beef?
That's a law.
That's a law?
Yeah,
no, I didn't know that
Oprah got in
one.
trouble for it.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I mean, I don't know where you were going.
I towed the line.
I want you to stay out of jail.
Thank you for that. No, it's actually big beef's coming out. No, it's actually you can't feed lobster to inmates more than 3 days a week. And this is up there in the somebody fact check me on that because I'm sure I'm lying. It didn't take long for producer Adam to get on that one. I think it's up in like New Hampshire or Maine. I'm gonna say it's Maine, and I think they used to feed the lobsters to the prisoners, and it was like cruel and unusual. But I'm sure they didn't steam it in drawn butter either.
I feel like this isn't real. Twice a week in Maine.
So twice a week in Maine. When did that law come out?
That's fascinating. That sounds very
Is
old.
that Chat GPT you're using to find that? Yes, Andre says yes in New England. Andre says they are the cockroaches of the sea. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
David says used to be peasant food. I ate it at Pack Rat. Wow.
Yeah.
Kia
See, that's why it's
says-
overrated.
He says you have to grill the lobster. Yeah, you know what? I'll overrated, overpriced. All right, I'll say
Definitely
overrated.
that.
You give me lobster. I don't like having to work so hard.
100%.
How do you feel about crawfish?
Too much work?
It's the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Crustacean category.
I feel like you're being consistent, so I'll allow it.
Shrimp. Even shrimp's a little too much work.
Peel and eat. Peel and eat. Put it on a po' boy. I'm in.
Right.
Jambalaya.
Right.
Etouffee.
Yeah.
Where's Bubba Gump? Anyway. All right. Next. JSX.
Oh, underrated. The greatest airline in the world. Have you flown it?
I don't even know what JSX means.
See,
Tell me what JSX.
This is where.
What do you think? Have you flown? If you're watching this right now, have you flown JSX? Is Jeremy crazy? Let me know. These two things can be not mutually exclusive.
JSX is a new startup airline headquartered here in Dallas.
Okay.
And it is smaller planes, 30 seats.
Okay.
They're basically like business class style seats.
Like a Gulfstream kind of thing? Or
kind of,
like,
yeah.
All right.
So you're 1-1.
Okay, I already like it.
15 rows.
I already like it.
You don't go through TSA in the main airport.
Love it.
You go to the private hangar part.
Yes.
But it's a normal deal. Like you book it on an app.
Yeah.
You know, all that. And then you go through their own little security, which is like just walk through a metal detector.
Yeah.
You don't
The way
have,
it used to be.
you don't have to do anything basically.
Yep.
You walk on the tarmac, you get on the plane. It's like flying private, but it's not private.
Right.
You're with 29 other of your stranger friends.
Group private.
Group private.
Presumably classy.
And it's only like
Compatriots.
$100 more-ish
No way.
a direction.
Only $100 more. These flights are getting expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But the hassle factor of not doing TSA in the airport and all that is.
That's almost worth it alone.
I've shown up like
JSX.
literally 5 minutes before a flight and just on the tarmac on the plane go.
What is
It's amazing.
Man, I need to look up a JSX
Underrated.
flight. You know, I dig the premise. You know what? I'm not buying the price point though.
Yeah.
Can somebody give me
No,
a
we're
JSX?
gonna do it
from,
right now.
From Dallas.
I would like
to
JSX to give
Newark.
me some flight
Newark.
credits
Dallas
for
to
this,
Newark
by the way.
or New York. Because
Well, they don't fly everywhere. That's the thing. They're
Fly to
new.
New York, right?
They fly to Westchester.
I've grew up in White Plains. HPN,
So you got to
baby.
go to some alternate
HPN,
airports.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah. You got to go through Nashville to get to New York from Dallas. But it's only 30 minutes on the ground, same plane. Then
maybe
you
I
have
get
to go
some,
again.
Some hot chicken on
Yeah.
on the layover.
I'm
Go
going to look it up
Hattie's
while you're
While I'm just talking about chicken.
talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got time. Fine. I'll have to buy time from cable television. You know, I'm in on this idea. I gotta see. I need more information.
You fly it and your life will be changed forever.
I'm down to change my life. Not like a marathon changed my life, but I'm down to like fly better for sure. All right. That one I need more information.
All right.
We're gonna move on here just for a second.
Yep.
All right. Overrated, underrated. Tesla.
I told you I have one. Underrated. Because
How could it possibly be underrated?
because they've just rolled out the full autonomous self-driving beta.
Is it legal? Like,
And so it's
Okay.
Sure.
Shouldn't ask if it's legal,
Of
like
course
on
it's legal.
camera. Is it legal?
But you literally put in an address like
Yeah.
yours
Yeah.
and it just drives me there. That's
Here in Dallas, we could do that.
anywhere.
now.
I could
Right
put
now.
in some address in Denver and it'd drive me to Denver.
And you're like, can you take a nap?
It doesn't let you, but you could.
Does it
in
look
the
for your
sen-
eyes or does it
Yes.
just look for the hand pressure on the wheel?
Both. It's
What if
got
you,
a
like, put
camera.
eye-
It's
like-
got a camera looking at you.
Elon's just like watching. you
Well, the
drive.
government. I think that's the government part.
The
I think they
government's
won't
doing
let you
that.
fully let go.
All right, here's my dream situation.
Okay.
So
Does it involve
I-
a marathon?
So I've completed the marathon. And now,
Good.
first thing I do after the marathon, I'm getting calf transplants, is I decided I'm going to go visit my family up in New York. And after work on a Friday, I want to hop into my RV,
Okay.
have a glass of vino, watch a family film, go to sleep, and wake up
Yeah.
somewhere far, far, far away.
Okay.
Because my RV's been driving me all night long.
Okay.
So I used to live in Michigan. It'd be like a 9-11 hour drive to New York, whatever.
Yep.
And I'll just wake up there Saturday morning, hang out with the family. Sunday night, do the same thing, and wake up Monday back wherever I live. How far are we away from that now? You're talking about fully
The
self-driving?
car will perform. The car would get you there.
Well, it would also need to be recharged. So you have a
Yeah, but it
distance
could
thing.
charge itself in theory.
How does it charge itself?
Well, it would navigate and park itself in a charging stall. And then I've seen a demo video where it moves the cord electronically itself and plugs itself in like a snake.
Okay, that's creepy yet convenient.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like where tech is right now. Creepy yet convenient.
But there's already semis running on the highways that are autonomous.
So and those you could, yeah.
So
This is interesting. Adrian's always
$1,000 to Westchester, by the way.
$1,000 from here to Westchester with the stop in Nashville.
Yep. 30-minute stop. 4.5 hour total.
I think that's roughly twice as much.
Nah, 600, 700 to New York.
Not he's saying 300, but I don't think any more you can. I think it went up. Well, when'd you book it?
Okay, well, I'm looking at like a couple weeks. If
Okay,
I look in
all right.
October, maybe it's cheaper.
All right, so maybe it's 2 to 3 times more.
Okay, it's still
Okay, it's still okay. It's all
if
right.
you have the means, it's worth
If
it.
you, yeah, Adrian's saying, yeah, BMW self-driving also utilizes the camera above you to ensure you pay attention to the wheel and potential outside conditions.
I don't think BMW's autonomous driving
Is it
though.
fully.
I think that's just stay in your lane driving. You can put an address and it literally turn by turn drives you there. Really? I didn't think anybody but Tesla had that.
Wow. Well, in that case,
Well, throw that out.
I think I mean, listen, here's my beef with Tesla. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure your car is lovely despite the smell in the backseat. Your mother-in-law vomited in the backseat
Oh,
of the Tesla.
yeah. Well, it's a different Tesla.
I'm sure you've eradicated
Yeah,
a different Tesla. He's
threw
like,
that one
I
away.
got rid of that one. New
Yeah.
Tesla.
Yeah.
All right. I guess no. No, I find them to be a little cramped. I think I love the huge like display. I love the like mega like small
Well, you
TV.
got to be in the Y then. The Y is like the mini SUV one.
It still looks low to me.
Okay.
It looks like a
Yeah.
small SUV.
Well,
I need like a large SUV.
there is
Now, I
the
know
semi.
Once is that out?
Yeah.
Oh, the semi, the truck.
Yeah,
The truck for me,
18-wheeler. That would give you space. There's a whole bed in the back. Or the Tesla truck is coming out very soon.
The crazy
Yeah,
looking one.
Yeah, yeah.
The one that
You'd be good in that.
I'd be good in that.
Put on some dark shades.
Some dark
You'd be
shades.
getting out of that thing. I think that's a good image.
All right, I'm gonna say Tesla's.
By the way, this is fascinating. I just saw a UPS truck drive by your window here.
Yes,
Did you know UPS trucks aren't air conditioned?
they just have the door open. Aren't they just?
I just
rocking-
read this. There's like a big fight right now, union fight about putting air conditioning in the trucks. I'm like, how are they driving around in Texas and the South without air conditioning?
But you get that nice breeze. But what about in the north? When are they heated?
Heat would run off the engine, right?
Maybe
Everything has heat.
Everything has heat. I mean,
Yeah.
but if there's no door on it, because I don't think they have like
Well, yeah, I guess
proper
the heat goes
doors.
out the door.
I mean, that would.
It's fascinating, though. I mean, shout out to the UPS.
Shout out
drivers.
to UPS, the good people at UPS. I'm gonna say Tesla's a bit overrated.
Well,
I'll say Tesla's a bit overrated, but I don't own one, and I don't. There's
Okay.
the truck coming out.
we're gonna drive in mine.
I
see
think.
if we
All right,
change your mind.
I'm gonna need some butter to get some grease to get into the front seat, probably. All right, let's overrated, underrated. Most musicians today.
I had a great mental image going for the audience of you with some shades getting out of that Cybertruck, and you just gave them you with butter
Me buttered up
in
and,
my
and steamed and drawn
sedan.
butter getting into your sedan.
All right, what was the category?
Overrated, underrated. Most musicians today.
Overrated. Music today sucks.
Such an old man take.
No, it's not.
Music
No,
today
it's not.
sucks. Is there any empirical data to support the statement music today sucks?
100%. Ask Chat GPT.
Paragraph before, paragraph after. Why? Give me a reason.
Because it's not from a place of soul, and it's not from a place of musical expression of what you feel. It's all produced and packaged and electronically corrected, and
Okay.
it's
So you're saying that it's overproduced? Because there's like two things I'm hearing here. I'm hearing the argument that seems to be invalidating the emotions of a generation, which is fine. I'm cool with that. I'm an old man too. Okay, I turned 40. I can have these opinions as well. But it's like, but our teen angst was different, is more valid than their teen
that's
angst.
fair point.
You know
It's
what
a
I
fair
mean?
point.
Like all all the kids that were swooning over Elvis or climbing over each other when the Beatlemania hit the shores.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how do
All
we say
true.
our angsty 17-year-old?
I'm more talking about the actual performance and production, the creative act of it.
I could probably get with that. I think that's probably
now.
fair.
Some of them will argue. I've seen some of them on shows and stuff where they're being creative in their use of the computer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get that, but by and large,
using computers like instruments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where we're all heading. That's where law's heading. That's where we're over here. We used to have to go see people to do this kind of stuff.
I mean, there was that fake song. Who was that artist? Got really upset because there was a fake song that came out on Spotify and it was totally fake. It wasn't them.
It wasn't them, but it's like done in their style.
Yeah. No, but it was their voice. Someone had AI'd
the voice. I think those voices still need some work, but they're like 80% there.
Did you see the Beatles are coming out with a new song?
No.
Yeah. So
using AI,
Paul McCartney has pulled John Lennon's voice off of a demo tape because they could extract it with AI, just the voice, and then they redid the music, and it's coming out. The last Beatles song.
Oh man, this is interesting.
Beatles overrated, by the way.
Ooh, I don't disagree.
People are gonna get hot on that.
I don't. So you hate the new music, and you hate the music that came before your generation. A lot of hate going, a lot of privilege in that band, that what we call the Jeremy band of music.
There are good bands today. I'm just saying in general.
You're saying I agree. Yesterday's music is awful. Give me your least favorite band today. That's like so hard.
Oh yeah,
there's like so many, right? The one that annoys you the most. What was that, Adam? The Island Boys. Oh, you're funny. That's funny. Esmeralda, Taylor Swift is the only exception. Ooh, are you a Swiftie?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
But did you know she has Swiftie trademarked? So you owe her money by saying that just now.
Between you and Beef and Taylor Swift.
I'm just telling you the truth, man.
They're all coming after me.
She has like everything in the world trademarked. It's crazy. But yeah.
You know what's funny? Delaney sat up straight, put her iPad down. She's like, we don't talk about Taylor Swift. Let's get into it. You like Taylor Swift? Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. With 4 girls, I've become a Swiftie.
All right. We got a good question here from Natalie Marshall. Natalie Marshall Rose. Top 3 favorite bands.
U2. Greatest band of all time, actually.
Wow. Hot take. Greatest band of all time. Still, huh?
I'll throw Taylor in right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Present day.
And then we'll round it out with as a drummer, Rush.
Canadian band.
Mm-hmm.
Rush. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a look at this. Yeah, Natalie's saying yes, you too. Nice. Yeah, let's weigh in on Jeremy's favorite 3 bands. Do you agree, disagree? Tom Loft saying, wow, that's a hot take. I think he was referring about the generational stuff.
The Beatles, probably.
Mike Falia, Queen, Eagles, Fleetwood Mac. You know, it's funny, but don't they always come from, or most often come from that era when you're like late teens, early 20s?
But here's where your theory sort of goes awry, because isn't it interesting that we're still listening to Queen, Eagles, etc.? Those are still on the radio today, but the stuff that was before that is not on the radio today.
Because those people are dead that like that music. I don't know. That's not a very well informed take.
Didn't really think about that.
But okay, so give me like Elvis. Like, what are we talking about?
Elvis or anything even before
just
that?
Released a big movie.
Why is that music from those decades completely off the airwaves, but stuff from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s and today? still on the radio. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, I think
And
there's
80s
something.
music is like probably the most solid decade of music.
80s music.
Yeah.
80s,
Yeah.
not 70s.
No.
Because Queen,
80s.
Queen, Eagles, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah.
It's definitely 80s.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's
Frida
like
would tell you 80s.
Frida will tell me 80s.
Anything Frida tells me is true.
Is Frida
She's
way
like
in
the
here?
anti-chat GPT.
The anti.
It's all truth. All and only truth.
Tom saying CCR. Yes, Creedence.
See?
Creedence. See, I thought that was 70s though. Rush.
Yeah,
Rush is
right-
80s, I
right
think,
there.
right? I don't know. I don't actually know.
Right there.
Oasis. Natalie says Oasis.
No.
But they didn't have the body of work,
Nope,
right? They're like
nope,
2 albums
nope.
probably.
Now they hate each other and
Yeah, that didn't age well. Queen, Bob Marley, that's early 80s, late
Bob
70s.
Marley.
Cake, he died in 81 or 82, I think. Cake.
Cake.
We talked
We
about Cake.
started
We were
with
singing
Cake.
Cake earlier.
Full circle.
Muddy Waters.
Mm.
Blues is an exception to that yeah, but even that early blues, like BB King's really what you remember. Buddy Guys, what you remember. He just did his last tour.
Yeah.
Soundgarden, Journey.
Pearl Jam better than Soundgarden. Journey's timeless.
Natalie, so many love Taylor Swift, but among the greatest. Not sure about that. Prince, Madonna. I think Prince is overrated.
I classify Taylor both from she's about to be the highest grossing touring act of all time, right? She's going to go over $1 billion. So she's got to be in a top list. And I appreciate her growth. She was terrible at the beginning. She couldn't sing. She couldn't write her own stuff.
Wow.
Right. And she was doing the country thing. But she's bona fide, really great artist now that writes her stuff and sings well and plays guitar and piano. And
Tom's correct. 70s is better. Interesting. Def Leppard, Bon Jovi.
Def Leppard.
I think we're just throwing some.
Bon Jovi.
You know, it's so fun. Now everybody's getting like engaging.
Yeah.
We talk about
Def Leppard just came out with a new album where they redid Hysteria and part of a couple other albums with a symphony.
Oh wow. Wow.
There's a couple takes that are really interesting.
I love that when people perform in front of full like orchestras and stuff.
It's cool.
I think that's just incredible.
I saw Bon Jovi at my dad's law firm's Christmas party one year. The backyard of the head of the firm.
Was he in Jersey?
Pretty sick. No, it was in Houston.
Houston. Nice. Lincoln Park, Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit's the second best.
Yeah. Limp Bizkit.
Nickelback, best band of all time. Matt Gale. Coming in
Get
late, but
here.
coming in hot, Matt.
That's a terrible Utah take.
Oh, man.
Nickelback.
Nirvana.
Nirvana was game changer.
They were a game changer. They changed everything.
They
came out, they kicked off grunge.
Yeah.
That was legit.
Super short, obviously.
Yeah, unfortunately. Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're getting
Foo Fighters is really good.
Yeah, this is fun.
I mean, we could go all day on music.
We really could. All right, last category. Overrated, underrated. AI, artificial intelligence. What say you?
I mean, I think per our previous conversation, at the moment, it's overrated. It's just spewing lies.
Half truths.
It will be amazing, in another couple of years.
I almost use spewing lies as the title for this podcast.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Throne of lies. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, go in there and ask it some stuff.
I feel like I think we think what we're doing now is, I think we're overrating the quality of work that we're producing without AI, frankly. I mean, it's like we don't hold ourselves to the same 100% journalistic standard that
totally
that AI, the AI that we hold AI to. But I mean, I think it's super dangerous though. I guess I'm not maybe looking at the quality of it now as like a source for information as much as when I look at, like, if I think of overrated, underrated AI, as much as like just a game-changing force for society.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we're at like
it does some cool
point.
personal assistant kind of stuff today. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like you could say, I want to go on a trip to Denver, where are the top 5 restaurants and what's the best hotel near downtown to stay at. And like, it gives you good information.
Yeah.
But that's just sort of like taking an internet search and pulling it together for you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which is different than saying write a book.
It's like a pivot table for internet searches.
Yeah.
Combining multiple types of information into one narrative for you.
Yeah.
where it would take multiple different internet
Pivot
searches.
tables, overrated, underrated.
And I think Excel is still underrated.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people use it, and people joke about people that, oh, everything's run on Excel. You're terrible.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this thing's been around since the
Yeah.
80s and it's still doing it. What do you think?
I've got a partner named Paul here in Dallas, and I think he lives actually in the Excel cells. Like he just
his metaverse.
That's the life. Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, our finance people use Excel in ways that I have no earthly idea what's happening, right? They're just like jamming out these formulas and stuff, and you're like, what the crap?
I worked with a guy, and
I'm a pivot table. That's about the extent of mine.
Is that as far as you go with it?
Maybe average AVG.
I don't even think I can make a pivot table now. I've worked.
It's a button, so
okay, now it's a button. I used to have to like have a formula. I worked with a guy that was so good in Excel, like, and he would get into like VBA coding stuff through Excel. He would program pranks in Excel, where if you hit your backspace bar, your computer would lock up. And then when you hit your space, you hit your space bar, and then the CD-ROM drive would come out. Like, this is the kind of stuff he was doing in Excel.
Yeah.
So I mean, once I saw that sorcery, I was like, I'm in on this. Yeah, interesting. I think AI is underrated, if that's even possible. Still, I don't know.
It's gonna be a game changer.
It's not like how blockchain was. Everybody was on blockchain. Super interesting. Jeremy, we've gone over, but sorry about that.
It's fine.
This is a lot of fun. I could talk to you for a long time. Do you want to leave people maybe just a final thought and kind of close us out here?
A final thought? That sounds heavy. Love people, do good.
Right audience.
Yeah, I think no, I mean, I think what we're doing at BL is the same stuff anybody can do anywhere, honestly. It's just a matter of choice and wanting to do it, and seeing purpose in what you do, and finding fulfillment in that, and engaging with each other, and finding ways to serve other people. And, you know, that's to me what life should be about for all of us. And we're trying to do that at BL, and others can read my book next year and follow suit.
Get the book. You have to come on and plug the book next year. Yeah, I love what you're saying there, though. It's just about people making choices to do that and incorporate that into the scope of what they do and how they operate.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Jeremy, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Jeremy Fudge, BAL. Thanks everybody for getting in the comments. We wouldn't have a show without you. So everybody got in here. There. Look at this. One last one from Natalie. Super cool, y'all. Stay tuned for more information about the Love and Relo 500 event coming August 3rd. We're actually just teasing that right now.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna invite like 600 people. Probably like 100 people are gonna show up. There's a lot of people from out of town. So we're gonna invite you too. He might be there. Who knows? This is awesome, y'all. We will catch y'all